Meet me. All right, welcome back, boys. And today we have something a little different. A guildie posted this on my guild Discord, and I'm sure that means it's probably from Reddit or something. But I finally got around to reading some of it, and there's actually a lot of good information in here. So I'll try to make it as quick as possible and only cover the key points because there's also a lot of whining in this. But basically, what happened was apparently a person or a group of people, I'm not sure, actually went to Supercreatives headquarters in Korea. And I guess they stood outside and complained or something. And shockingly, they actually let them in and talk to them. And I think that tells you something about how friendly Koreans are, because I'm American. We would have just shot them. So basically, they talked, and the guys took notes about their responses. So apparently, they talked to a business manager, a team leader, and an operations team leader. And apparently, they just chatted about various things that the community, or more specifically, the Korean community, complained about. And I think there's a lot of important information in here, and actually a lot of not so important information. But let's get right into it. So, luckily, the most important topics were at the top, and later on, it kind of just devolves into a whining fest. But I think they actually cover a lot of things here that are very important about understanding the future state of Epic 7 and how the developers feel about it. And I will link this whole thing in my video description in case some of you guys have not seen it already, so you can read it at your leisure. But let's just cover the key points here. So the first question is very important. They're basically discussing people are still divided about balance. After Hwayoung's release, balance has become better than December. I mean, I don't really agree with that, but I guess you could make that argument. One opinion is that the current balance favors those that collect all of the top-ranked heroes. It's not an opinion. That's true. That's a fact. So let's see what Supercreative thinks about that. We understand that balance is important. Well, obviously, we recognize that AOL is an issue. Since then, due to released heroes, her power levels are overall going down. This is actually true. Data also shows that the 7 great disasters are approaching a balanced state. The 7 great disasters are what the Koreans call like kind of the power creeped new heroes. I don't really agree with this that much. We predict that balance will be achieved with more time. So I won't talk about because they kind of cover more in the later questions. So is the cause of lack of balance Angel of Light Angelica? I guess they asked that because they didn't actually mention AOL in the first question. They brought it up. AOL was overpowered. I like how they just say that right off the bat. I think I do respect when developers will just straight up admit things like that. So I like that they're actually looking at pick rates and win rates and stuff. So basically they're saying from the data, statistically, even they could tell that she was overpowered. Since then, as heroes come out, the numbers are slowly adjusting. This is definitely true. AOL is definitely nowhere near as strong as she was on release. And this I didn't really get. They want to return to a state similar to E7WC. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily a problem or something. I just don't really recall at the time of E7WC everyone just saying that the game is perfect and completely balanced. People still complained back then. I believe this was around like carrot meta time. But I guess that's fine. It's better than it was now. The upcoming update will result in many changes towards character balance. It is expected to change the meta one from the current one that favors a few select units. This is what the developer wants. As it's a long-term time, I know that I won't experience it with my own skin. That's probably just bad translation. That's pretty horrifying. I hope they didn't actually say that. But I think the key thing here is that they are saying that they want a meta. That doesn't just mean like 10 units will dominate and they want a lot of heroes to be viable. To be fair, I actually think they have been accomplishing this. As much as I did not like the past 2 seasons metas, well, it was kind of weird because I felt that the hero pool of viable units was actually quite large. I think there were more heroes that were viable to use than, seasons 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, granted, there's also more heroes in the game now. But the flip side of it is there were, like, 5 to 10 heroes that were picked every single match. But in terms of overall hero diversity, I actually don't think it's as bad as some people made it out to be. As Hwayong was released, I was worried about character inflation. It doesn't make sense to me that we can deal with that issue without nerfs. Basically, they're asking, are you going to nerf, right? And something about fixing gear. So they want to fix the game balance outside of the gear system through exclusive equipments and frenzy. Well, I think that's common. You can't really balance through gear because everyone's struggling to gear. Even all the top 100 players are struggling to get enough gear, because the problem with gear is you're never done. This is why this game, a lot of people are susceptible to burnout. You're never done. People, like newer players, might think like, oh, legend players, they're done. They have all the good gear you need. No, like, because every time a new hero comes out that's good, you need another 6 pieces of godly gear, right? So the gear grind never, ever ends. If they said we're never going to release a new hero ever again, then maybe it might end. But if you want a deep hero pool and you want to keep all these heroes geared, you're never done with the gear grind. So basically, blah, blah, blah. They're saying they want to fix it with EEs, exclusive equipments. The use of injury set increased as well. No, it didn't. I mean, it did, but it was one hero that used it. I don't think anything else uses it. In any case, if previously unused heroes gain value due to changes in equipment, another new meta may appear. It doesn't mean that they were meant to fit the sets. I don't think this is a sensible comment. Like, that's fine, but who cares? When you nerf, there is going to be a process of adjusting overall balance while nerfing. The same is said for buffing. When nerfing, you have to take into consideration that the unit will not be invested into as much anymore. However, with buffs, that issue doesn't occur and overall balance can be the priority. This is why in general buffs are preferred. Okay, so to me, this is just wrong. This is flat out incorrect. They're saying when you nerf, you have to be worried that that one unit is not viable anymore, but that when you buff, that issue doesn't occur. That's not true at all, because when you buff or release a new hero, it's a direct nerf to other units. I will use myself as an example. I was a filthy, degenerate APOC Ravi spammer. I sat in Legend pretty much all of last season, and then on the last day I got dumpstered out. Why? Because Hwayong completely destroyed the way I play. She destroyed APOC Ravi, she dumpstered Violet, she dumpstered Rylet. All those heroes, like if you played the similar style to me, Hwayong dumpstered all those kind of units. And nothing was nerfed. Nothing was nerfed, right? They just made a new hero. But to say that that problem doesn't happen when you're buffing is bullshit. When you buff a hero or release a new hero, you definitely impact the meta and make other heroes maybe not viable at all, but definitely less viable. Do you think that you can achieve balance with only buffs? I mean, I don't think they could agree to, so that's pretty much a dumb question, but I'm sure that's what they're attempting. What about character inflation? If it isn't due to a specific gimmick, blah, blah, blah. So is balance and character inflation one and the same? They think it's pretty similar. They asked that character inflation is sometimes a cause. So basically they're saying power creep destroyed other gachas. They're saying they're trying to contain it. They're saying they haven't even brought up things like 7-star heroes and super awakenings. I guess that's good because that would just be a pointless gimmick. Rather than having a patch that adds a new power level, the goal is to shift the meta with a new gimmick. I like that they keep using this word because, again, the one thing I like is that what they're saying lines up with the past, right? Whether or not we agree with their philosophy, it's their philosophy and their actions prove that they believe it's true, whether or not it actually works out well for us. Because we've seen this for probably ever since the release of, for me at least, Blood Moon Haste, right? And probably even before that. But I remember when Blood Moon Haste came out, and we saw this gimmick where when you revive, your whole team becomes invincible for a turn, basically. And then, you know, more and more stuff came out, like, I don't remember the orders, but like Solitaria that like shuts down focus units, Archdemon that seals things with passives. They keep releasing gimmicks and new passives and whatever. And that has been their philosophy, and they've stuck to it. There have been a lot of gimmicky units for the past year, which has reinforced this rock, paper, scissors meta, which I don't like. Some people like it, and I don't think it's an invalid design philosophy. It's just rather you like it or not. I liked kind of like a general purpose philosophy instead of this throw repeated counters at everything over and over and hope they got through. But it is a philosophy, and you know, that's what they want, and they've stuck to it. I don't like it, but they've stuck to it, and I respect that. At least they're making a choice. With Flying's release, there's an opinion that many units are much weaker, such as LQC, Dark Corvus, and even Rylot. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. When you buff or release a new unit, it nerfs these other ones, because look at what they're picking. I mean, I don't know what the hell Dark Corvus... I guess this is Guild Wars, but like Rylot and LQC are kind of like one-shotting heroes, but Hua-Young does such a better, more reliable job than LQC or Remnant Violet, so they're basically nerfed too. Like, their role got nerfed, because if you could choose between Hua-Young or LQC, you're going to take Hua-Young 90% of the time. So recalls aren't the reason why nerfs are being avoided. Yeah, I agree with that. Smallgate has been very generous with recalls in the past, so I don't know why we thought that Smallgate wouldn't want to give out selectors. 7 deadly sins. Oh, he means the 7 great disasters. If we nerf anything, the player base will want one of these heroes. This would result in more nerfs, and we end up biting our own tail. I don't agree with this. I get what they're saying. So they're saying that if they nerfed something and gave a selector, probably whatever is the most broken ML5 currently other than that hero, everyone would use the selector and pick that hero and then trigger that unit to be nerfed. But the obvious solution to that is maybe there shouldn't be a hero that broken. Like, for example, let's say they nerfed, I don't know, a Ravi, but left Mediator Cowric the same. Probably everyone would just change to Mediator Cowric, and then they'd be forced to nerf that, and then they would just keep going down the chain and recalling over and over and over. So I get their concern, but that's really on them to not have that situation where there's such an obviously strong hero that everyone's going to funnel into. Recalls will lead to the gap between players getting worse. In what sense would the gap get worse? The gap in terms of hero ownership would further deepen. I mean, I don't agree with that. Why would the gap get worse? You're trading 1 for 1. I guess for the players with dupes, maybe, because a lot of whales have dupes. But the whales have everything anyway, so there's no gap with them. You can't have a gap between someone who has everything and someone who doesn't. They'll just continue to have everything. So I don't agree with that. Management agrees that there are several solutions for the current issues. We're going to lower the difficulty of obtaining MLs. That's good. Group summons that's good too. I think everyone loved that last group summon. Barriers to entry will be lowered. Bullshit. There's no way to lower the barrier to entry. The barrier to entry is gear. It's not, I mean, lower level players want to, pretend it's just nothing but the heroes. The heroes are a big part of it, to be sure. But it's also the gear. Like, the main barrier to entry is that it's basically a function of how much energy you've spent, right? So if you're new and you've only spent like 50,000 energy in the game, which sounds like a lot, but trust me, if you've been hunting for 2 years like me, it's not. You're going to have no chance against someone who spent 500,000. That's the whale factor. So there's no way to fix this with the gear system in place. It is what it is. I don't try to BS people. You seem to be talking about nerfs, but there have only been 16 nerfs. Damn, this guy did his homework. He even counted the number of nerfs. Nerfs will only harm the users. We want to avoid damaging heroes' performance and users' trust. This is crock of shit. In the scenario where meta won't be fixed otherwise, we will definitely nerf heroes. They're not on the same page because management has solutions that we've been working towards. We're going to try not to nerf. Nerfing will affect too many heroes. But I hate this logic. Nerfing, they're not wrong, right? Nerfing will affect a lot of heroes, but the heroes that are related to that hero. But if that's their logic, why are they okay with releasing new heroes or buffing existing heroes that dumpster other heroes? We just talked about Hua-Young, how bad she dumpsters bruiser units, and how bad she outclasses other one-shot units. So if this is what they're worried about, when they play-tested Hua-Young, why didn't they say, well, shit, all these popular units are about to get dumpstered by this hero's release, and we're going to do it one day before the end of the season? They didn't seem to care then, so why are they caring so much when nerfs are brought up? So I get their logic for, like, I understand what they're saying, but it's BS because it goes the other way around too. So you can't make this argument and not say that buffs and new heroes aren't having that same problem. Oh, here we go. Hua-Young was released just before the closing of this RTA season. She has become a meta-defining hero, and rumor has it that a legend player was demoted to Emperor. I don't know what that means. Are they just saying that people who were good enough to make legend got dumpstered to Emperor because of her? I mean, that's kind of me, although I might have been Emperor anyway. But maybe there's a specific player they're talking about there. Is it normal to release a character that changes the meta this close to RTA season end? We are discussing this as an important issue. We are considering changing the start cycle of World of Arena. This is not intentional. We are not attempting to change the meta right before the season end. So sometimes I wonder if it's a translation thing. Like, I wonder if this guy insinuated this or if the guy just responded with this answer. Because I think it's pretty funny if the guy just said this without being asked. Because then it knows that it's in his head that people are accusing him of that, right? Because it's a good idea, right? Because honestly, it got me. Because you know what happened? I wasn't really playing RTA. I logged in on the final day. I got dumpstered by Hua-Young. You know what I did on the last day? I immediately 6-starred her, fully awakened her, and put all the molas I had left into her. And I don't think there was a mola pack in the store at the time. But if there was, I might have bought it to try and finish plus 15ing her. So it's... I don't know how much I trust them because, you know, no one at Supercreative thought it was kind of dirty to release a super powerful new hero, what, a day and a half before the end of the RTA season, and they didn't think that might pressure people going for Legend to build that hero. That's just dirty. Like, Supercreative, in my opinion, like, this isn't like an open-ended thing. It's a very easy decision to make, right? Like, just end the RTA season. Like, no one cares when it ends, right? Just literally say, we will not release new heroes or balance patches less than 2 weeks before a season end. Done. They have to commit to saying that. And no more bullshit. No more bullshit. Like, because I actually used to praise Supercreative for this because in the past seasons, balance patches literally came like the day after the RTA season end. And I thought they were doing that on purpose out of respect for us. And then suddenly that just randomly changed. And now they're doing this crap where they change it right before the season end. Like, that's just dirty. Like, no BSing, no discussing. They should just literally commit to not doing that anymore. Because it's not like the balance issue where there's a lot of other variables and stuff. This one's easy. Just don't do it. Just don't do that. They don't have to change any balance issues or anything. Just don't do that and it'll be fine. This is regarding the balance survey. Why did you ask about Covenant and Hero? Blah, blah, blah. Is this for sales? I'll be honest, I didn't look at that balance survey. So I don't know what they're referring to. Like, I know they asked a balance survey, but I don't know what the questions on it were because... I guess I'm a jerk. I should have filled it out. Sorry, guys, but I didn't look at it or fill it out because honestly, I didn't think they would listen to it. Management is looking at all communities, blah, blah, blah. Why ask about the 3 units that need buffs? Um, eh. Eh. Okay. Let's skip that. This is a question about AOL. No matter how you look at it, AOL is the beginning of the decline in balance. How can such an overpowered character be released? All we can say is that we're sorry. Koreans are good at apologizing. I'll give them that. She was not meant to be overpowered. We instead put our emphasis on the visual design. We understood there was no blah, blah, blah. So we designed a character. So they're saying they wanted to make her strong because there's no ML4 pity. Once again, apologize. So this is like, they didn't really say anything here, but like if they agree that she's incredibly overpowered and meta shifting on her release, why didn't they nerf her right off the bat? I mean, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Like, I guess because they're saying maybe players spent money. The money thing is always going to be a problem with this nerfing stuff. Preservation of value. You mentioned it's important for heroes to retain their values. Bullshit. Bullshit. We believe it's important for users' heroes to have more values the more they're invested into with cascading returns. Yeah? Tell that to Kayron. Tell that to Silverblade Araminta. Tell that to Dizzy. Tell that to all the heroes that I have plus 15'd sitting on the bench. Bullshit. Crock of shit. Like, I think it's important. So I try to be objective, guys, right? Like, I want to give Supercreative credit where it's due, but sometimes their statements are just bullshit. Like, they can't say things like this when so many units that were very meta and, you know, no one gave you shit Season 1 for plus 15ing Alencia. No one smart is going to put a single Mola into Alencia if you pull her today. So this is complete garbage, what they're saying. If it is what they believe, they're not doing a good job at it. So, I mean, I'm okay with certain heroes falling out of the meta. I think that's natural and inevitable. I don't think there's anything they could do about that. But don't spit in our face and say that this is their ideal, because if it is, they're not doing a good job. Just say that heroes are going to lose value over time, and I think we could accept that. Just be like, okay, you know, not everyone in the game can permanently be good. That's fine. Investing into a hero is a huge deal, blah, blah, blah. By the time players are actually able to play the game, so even Supercreative agrees that the end game is RTA. The meta generally shifts since the meta leading to older heroes becoming unusable. That's basically my point. It is difficult to fully blah, blah, blah. Our current aim is to improve the rate that users can acquire more Molagoras. Running out of Guru lead to issues. We are also finding with outs when we can reveal. Okay, I honestly, I'm wondering what the solution. So they're just saying that. So what does that mean? It takes what? 33 molas to fully mola a DPS Nat 5. So are they going to make it like 25? Or are they going to keep it the same and just give us like 3 molas to buy a week or something? I think if they acknowledge this part, older heroes becoming unusable, instead of giving us more molas, instead of changing how molas work, just let us recall those old useless heroes and get the molas back. I mean, maybe not like infinitely, right? Like maybe let you do it one. I've mentioned this before in a previous video. Maybe let you do it, you know, every 2 months or something. But every endgame player I know has something plus 15 that's a pure trash can now. So instead of having to change the whole game, just let us get our research. You can even keep it 6-starred and make me waste my catalysts because those aren't time gated. Give me the molas back. Let me take my molas away from Alencia and Kayron and all those other heroes that have a ton of molas invested into them. And like they're saying, they're unusable. Running out of growth, blah, 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 test heroes. We are planning on a way to test heroes without spending resources immediately. I don't know what that means. So I guess to allow players to test without moling. But honestly, is it really that hard to add 10%? Like, I don't think this is an issue really smart people were having an issue with. Oh, here we go. Do you have any plans to allow repeat players I guess I didn't read this whole thing. There's no intention to allow players to reset heroes. Instead, the intention would be to make heroes more usable. We will do our best to ensure every single hero has a role in the game. Bullshit. This is a crock of shit. It's been 3 years since release. They cannot do this. Look how long it takes for balance patches. Every single hero is going to have a role in the game. What is there, like 300 heroes in the game? And 50 of them are usable? So they're about 250 heroes behind right now, right? How are they going to do this? It's bullshit. How are they going to make Kayron good again? And that's not just Kayron. There's about like 30 heroes that have this problem. How are they going to make them all good again to not make you feel bad about the fact that you plus 15 them? And more importantly, this is just overall impossible. Think of how hard of a time Supercreative is having balancing the units with the whole community fully accepting that a lot of the heroes in the game are completely worthless, right? Like, I've never seen an uproar over the fact that, like, I don't know, Purgus isn't usable. I mean, he actually used to be, but, like, no one's screaming that, like, those 3-star heroes aren't in Legend RTA. I think, as a general rule of thumb, the vast majority of the community doesn't care that 80+% of the heroes are completely useless, but they want the top 20% to be useful. So this just seems like a canned response. It seems simple enough to offer players a reset. However, this will lead to players tossing harder to use heroes aside. That's just an awful translation. But I guess what they mean is it's going to have players not think about investing in heroes and just do whatever because they know they'll be able to reset them. I get that. I don't disagree with that. I think investing into a hero should be a choice, which is why I'm saying the reset should not be infinite. But I think we can do a simple test. Like, if someone want to sit there and think about the heroes that were meta in Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, Season 4, and figure out how many of those heroes have decayed out of the meta till now, and basically divide. So I don't know, what season is it now, like 6 or 7? So if 14 heroes decayed, that means basically allow players to reset 2 per season or something. But I agree that should not be like an infinite reset and just let them screw around with whatever they want. Investing should be an intelligent choice, but the Supercreative, I think, should acknowledge that no matter how hard they try, they're not going to be able to keep every single hero viable forever. No matter what they're saying here, it's BS. There's no way they're going to be able to do that. Blah, blah, blah. A lot of these new issues will be... Okay, so basically they're saying just wait. I think we don't get enough friendship, Molagora. That's just crying. I'm fine with the friendship system. Like, I get what they're saying. If I get friendship level 10 too late, well, that's your fault, right? Like, don't do that. So, whatever. Questions regarding communication. I think this is where it starts turning into a wine fest. We'll read into some of these. There's nothing addressing the review bomb. Oh my god, did that happen? I need to check the play. Did the game actually get review bombed again? I remember when it went down to like sub 2. I hate review bombs. I think they're really bad for the game because I'd be okay with review bombs if people changed the rating after they fixed it. The problem is a lot of people just jump on the review bomb train and then uninstall and just not care. And then they can never recover from that, right? And the thing is, if you're a new player and you find a game on the Play Store and it has a rating of 2.5, are you going to install it? No. So it's a very effective, like, I will say that it's an effective weapon at forcing the developers to act. So in that case, it's good. But it's bad because you also become the instrument of the game's demise. Because no one's going to install a 2.5-star game. The community is eventually going to die out. So overall, I hate this idea. I think it should only be a last resort. Okay, whatever. They're looking at the community, just BS canned responses. They're apologizing. We are sorry again. They apologize a lot. Blah, blah, blah. I don't care about this. Side questions. People are angry. We demand an apology. I mean, they've apologized like 18 times in this thing already, so sounds like they got an apology. You must give an apology. Literally right here, they say we are... it is too late for many people. I don't think people are really, like, angry. I think they're just annoyed. Again... Okay, well, there you go. Problem solved. You got the apology. What's with this thing with people wanting apologies? I don't want an apology from Supercreative. I don't even know who the hell they are. If you ever coerce an apology from someone, that apology doesn't mean anything, right? They're just saying it to get you to shut up. And also, I feel like all of their notices, like, they're a Korean company. I feel like all they do is apologize, so... maybe it's because I'm American. I think they've apologized more than enough. Just fix it. Actually, they kind of say that it's more important to tell them how to actually do it. Well, I guess that's the problem. We're telling you how to do it. You don't want to do it. Nerf units, give us some Oligora recalls, but you're saying they're dumb ideas without good evidence that they are. About reinvestment, you guys can read this on your... I don't give a crap about this. I'm not going to read a manga or do the quizzes with them. The story is not interesting. I wouldn't know. I haven't read any of the story. I click the skip button every time. Lots of players are curious about Moonlight hero backstories. Is this true? Am I the only one that doesn't know the backstory of any of the heroes in the game? Does anyone read this stuff? Maybe. I don't. I think it's mainly because there's a lot of text to read, and usually I just want to get it over with, but who knows? The story might be good. I have no opinion on any of that. About ancient inheritance, there are many things to improve regarding... That's not a question. This is a stupid question if it was actually a question. Ancient inheritance, you know what? I like it. I think it's great. Will I think it's great in 6 months after doing it 1,000 times? Maybe not. But at least for now, it's fresh and new. I think what Supercreative has to get better at is when they release new content, and get better about understanding when that content sucks. Because this is, I had that video about the one thing I'd want to change with Epic 7. This is the nightmare that I have every time Epic 7 releases new PvE content, which is that, you know that meme where it's like, ah shit, here we go again? It's that. It's exactly that. Because what does this mean to me? Every time you release new PvE content, it means it adds another chore to my giant list of Epic 7 chores I need to do every single day, and I don't want more chores. So I think what they have to do with PvE content is when it's new, if it's fresh and fun, fine, keep it around, but when it's boring and tedious, eventually find out some way to keep those rewards but axe the content. Like, I mean, World Boss is a bad example because it was literally never fun. It was not fun even on release. But move those rewards, because people, when I said that I want World Boss deleted from the game, people said, but no, the rewards are good. Yeah, the rewards are not the problem. The problem is that the content sucks. So keep the rewards, add it to the stupid Abyss Purify button or something. I don't care where the rewards go, but no one cares about that content, so it doesn't need to be in the game. Labyrinths, no one cares about it anymore. Like, maybe have it be a one-time thing where all the rewards are there, but once you clear it once, just basically turn it into an Abyss token, because no one wants to sit there and do the thing that they can't possibly fail on and do that stupid camping thing for friendship. Like, they need to get better about understanding when PvE content is outdated and that no one wants to do it anymore, and basically allowed for newer players to do it once and then just get rid of it. Find some way to get rid of it. About the gacha system, why the number 110 and why did you... that's a good question. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure people were requesting it, so blah, blah, blah. See, I don't really play other gachas, so is that what they normally do? I don't know. If it is, then I get it. If they were just copying something else. Like, Epic 7 I always hear is a ripoff of Summoner's War. Is that what happens in Summoner's War? If it is, then it's pretty reasonable logic. So they want to go both at the same time. We'll be able to toggle which pity should be used. We thought that the rate of mystic metals being spent would go down. It would go down. They're right. So it's a business decision, and we don't like it. But I applaud them for basically saying that. They're saying we won't make enough money if we do that. Fine. I'm okay with them taking hardline stances if they're open about it. So if they need to make more money, fine. Just call the bullshit and say it. It's too expensive. I mean, I guess. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Yes. I have to agree with that. We're all very exhausted. Basically what they're saying here is every new hero has been so good that you can't skip anything. You can't skip anything anymore to be a top player, which means the whales got to keep whaling. People coming new to the game, it's actually kind of good for them, assuming they have the resources to pull because they could catch up faster, but it's just exhausting knowing that you'll never be able to skip anything anymore. I think that's what they're referring to. And it sounds like they're saying they're going to release new heroes slower, which is honestly a good thing. Obtaining these armbands. Okay, that's true too. I like this. So, yeah, I also struggle with getting armbands because the problem is a big source of armbands is donating that red circle thing in the guild. I don't even know what the name is after 3 years. And to do that, you have to do adventure, and endgame players don't do adventure. Older heroes and epic passes reappear. Well, the older heroes suck. That's why. Because they didn't do a good job of keeping them relevant. like they said that they would. The most important thing for the management team is sales. Not. Rather, we value signs that players want to continue playing the game. This will fix the divisive and improve the quality of the thing. I mean, this is bullshit, but not fully bullshit. The most important thing for management is sales. But the thing is, for sales to be good, the game has to be good, right? So they're really not different things. Sales and a good game are a very tight relationship. So they shouldn't really be saying this. They should say the most important thing is sales, and because of that, we're going to try to bring you the best game possible. Look at what a company that, you know, like Blizzard, their game went from being good to being bad. What happened to the sales? Like if you focus just on sales and the game becomes bad, it's counterintuitive, right? So typically sales and a good game go hand in hand. Blah, blah, blah. Epoch Ravi broke the trust. I mean, there was no rule, so I don't really know. Was there a rule? Is there some rule that I wasn't aware of? I usually have no idea what the next Mystic hero is. Excuse me. Well, older players lack Mulligora, newer players lack Catalyst. I don't know how sympathetic I am to this. Catalysts are easy to get. Just do the side stories. I think this is a problem that usually happens when people refuse to do their side stories. I mean, who cares about this? Whatever. Wait, there's a level of hunt that's not Wyvern 13? I didn't even know that. Huh. Interesting. I don't actually know what this is talking about. Is this the equipment conversion boxes? I don't know. Oh, thank God. Labyrinth content needs to be simplified. But worrying what to update in order. We are aware that... Thank you. Thank you. I honestly, I skimmed this the first time through, so there's a lot of stuff I missed. It seems that we will not be able to discuss it. Yet, yes. Yes, please look at this. Get rid of it. No one wants to do Labyrinth anymore. One-time clear. Make it a one-time clear so people can get their first-time rewards. And if people are worried about not being able to get the ancient coins or whatever, shove it somewhere else. Shove it somewhere else. or give us an auto clear button after you clear it once. I don't know. I don't want. Well, I already don't do it, but most players don't want to. This is a big part of burnout because when you have content that's boring that no one wants to do, but if you don't do it, you feel like you're falling behind. That's when people quit, right? Because they say, I don't want to sit there for 2 hours a week and do Labyrinth. But wait, because I'm not doing Labyrinth, I can't keep up with top players. Oh well, guess I'll just quit then. Like, that's the kind of problem that we need to get rid of. Should be able to opt out of packs randomly appearing. Nah, I barely see them anyway. Like, dude, I don't even, maybe because I mentally just click X immediately. That doesn't bother me, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know, whatever. But something there had been no, would you like to save them? Okay, whatever. TLDR. We should expect a huge update at the end of April. We'll see if they hold true. Balance, they blamed it all on AOL, and they want to fix balance. They want to bring the game balance to a state similar to the last E7WC. They want to fix it through exclusive equipments and Battle Frenzy. Buffs are generally preferred. I don't like this part, but whatever. Nerfs are also avoided because of the concept of the domino effect. As one unit gets nerfed, a new unit would simply dominate the game, which is BS because it's the same thing with buffs. As one unit gets buffed, like Apoc Ravi, or a new hero comes out like Hua Young, old units get completely cycled out. They want to try to fix the balance globally. Impossible. They need to commit to just understanding that 80% of the heroes in the game will be worthless and focus on that instead of wasting time trying to make every hero viable. It will never happen. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Focus on sales. No plans for any excessive power creep. This wouldn't even really be power creep. Everyone would just 7-star everything immediately. No plans for recalls. Blah, blah, blah. Don't care about this. Don't care about this. Conclusion. Lots of apologies. All right, so I think we could wrap this video up here. I thought this was pretty interesting. You guys can read the whole thing on your own if you want. But it was good to see Smilegate's official thoughts on everything and what they're going to try to do. So yeah, feel free to read it on your own. I think they said some sensible things. They said some straight up BS things. But overall, hey, at least they talked to these weird dudes sitting outside their headquarters. I guess we know why that doesn't happen here, but poor Korean developers. So anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know your own thoughts on any of this stuff below. Until next time, peace out, boys.